Good evening. Hope this finds everyone doing well. Welcome to an evening live with a shaman. Yep. All right. Looks like I've got volumes where they need to be. Looks like everything's coming along. All right. Oh, Sally. Glad you could make it. All right. So, um, hoping everyone can hear me well. And those of you that are watching the pre-recorded broadcast, welcome. Live with a shaman. This evening we're going to be talking about what shamans do and what they don't do. And I posted some links up here as I do when I've picked a topic that I really think is worthwhile investigating, if you will, learning more about for sure. What shamans do is, well, I could probably sum it up in just a couple of minutes. One, we traverse life planes, we traverse astral planes, we practice all forms of OBE or out of body experience. We perform a number of different types of astral travels. Many of us do readings of one kind or another. I happen to use crystals. I know a number of shamans that use stones, bones, runes, blades of grass, sticks, whatever they can find laying around. Of course, we all know divination is a tool, and it's a tool for focal. Not necessarily that the tool itself has any magical powers, but it's the idea that we can focus on a particular tool to allow us to hone our senses, just like a scrying mirror, a crystal ball, if you will. You can do the same thing with a rotating light, as long as you're not epileptic. Sorry, flashing lights and rotating lights tend to send people into epileptic seizures. Not good, not healthy. It scare the hell out of the masses. I did say, though, in the header that I found it highly disheartening at just how many posts there are on the internet of charlatans, jokes, quite frankly, demeaning and very disheartening to the shaman path. People that say, I will teach you how to be a shaman for $200 a class, so to speak. And this stupid monitor, me and this monitor is going to fight. And it's probably going to win. But, yes, they will teach you how to be a shaman for $200 a month. Some shit like that. $5.99. I will teach you to be a shaman. It's disheartening, it's destructive, it's dishonorable, and quite frankly, yeah, like, well, Cindy said, we don't charge. Damn it. Now, I am allowed and have been allowed in the past to, by spirit, charge a nominal fee for holistic Christology and holistic healing. Typically, generally, I get mileage and a place to stay if I'm doing traveling. Um, Essentially the same thing I charge if I'm doing a wedding. I get travel and I get lodging, and anything outside of that is gravy. People say, how much do you charge to do holistic healing? Well, that depends. And see, herein is the deal. Shamans are healers. Now, let's get this straight. All shamans are healers of one kind or another, but not all healers are shaman. I have known some really wonderful witchcraft healers that very seriously follow the witchcraft path. Their magic is different. Everything they do in the healing is different. And then there's Reiki. I will probably piss off a whole lot of Reiki masters out there by saying what I am fixing to say, but most Reiki practitioners have not a flippin' freaking effing clue what they're doing when it comes to holistic healing. They have this idea that wiping away, you'll see them, they'll sit you down and they'll go wipey, wipey, wipey. Oh, better now. That'd be $200. $200. You pay me $200, I make you think you feel better. No, no, that is not what shamans do. Shamans assist with soul retrieval. Now, soul retrieval in and of itself is it's a misnomer. It's misunderstood. It's misrepresented, and quite frankly, a lot of places by a lot of people. It is practiced, in my interpretation, in my opinion, mind you, practiced incorrectly. Soul retrieval is another term or another set of words used for helping people find themselves. Where are they lost? At what point did they lose themselves? At what point did they lose self? What is self but the soul, the spirit, the who you are? Yeah. Because the truth of the matter is, if you lose your soul, well, you're either dead or you're a zombie. I'm not a big believer of the zombie apocalypse. I believe the apocalypse is going to be brought down by idiots, not zombies. Yeah. Anyway, soul retrieval is to help one find the self. Where was it lost? Was it abuse that caused the loss? Was it life instances that caused the loss? So our job as shaman is to be a counselor of a sort, right? I have met some really interesting shamans that have gone through, they've gotten their psych degrees, they've gotten their degrees in several different disciplines, everything from psychology all the way up to psychiatry. But they lose a little something along the way. Society training is specifically designed and meant to train magic out of you. Everything becomes about the science. Well, herein comes a paradox. Ready? No, I do not do a reading today. Um, I don't do internet readings anyway. Thank you. Sorry. But there are, and speaking of the person that posted in the area, shamans do readings. I very seldom do internet readings, and I don't do them off the top. When I do a reading, I talk to the individual for a while. I get to know a little bit about them. I read through their pictures, and I read through an energy connection. And anybody that's ever had a reading from me understands this and understands how it feels and has been through it, right? And as a shaman, understanding the reality of human nature and the individual, Vivi, sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I apologize if you're still watching. Says I need clear messages. Well, a piece of advice for you, if I can, right? The best way to receive and achieve clear messages is to allow them to happen. Find a place where you can relax and be quiet. Meditate within yourself. Listen to those messages as they come to you and open yourself up. 99% of the time, you'll find the messages already within you. You just have to accept those answers. And see, that's typically kind of what a shaman does. A true shaman will take the question, both the one being asked and the words not being spoken, and come up with an idea best suited for that particular individual. And anyone that watches our broadcast and our videos live with the shaman, I am very outspoken, and I call bullshit when I see bullshit. But when it comes down to readings, you have to be very careful with readings because you have people's heart in your hand. And I'm not going to tell anybody what I think they want to hear. See, therein lies a big problem with a lot of readers and people out there pretending to be shaman. They're going to tell you what they think you want to hear. That is not something I do. The beginning to any good reading for anybody to do. Good, you're still here. Thank you. But a good piece of advice for anybody that wants a reading, start by doing a reading for yourself. Stand with self in front of a mirror. Look at what you're seeing. Don't judge yourself. Human beings are the world's worst for judging themselves when it comes to readings. Like who you see and who you are. Not what society may have convinced you you are, but who you are. Try to find some calm within yourself. Find a place that you can meditate and be quiet. And my biggest advice is don't try to meditate because, folks, if you try to meditate, you're going to build stress over meditating and you're not going to be able to meditate for shit. Let it happen. If you like music, keep it down low. The last thing you want is, you don't want that music in your psyche. You want to be able to hear and feel your own heartbeat. Hear and feel the rhythm within your body and let it pull you in. Let yourself relax and let those messages come to you. Write them down if you have to. Get you a digital recorder and set it so that it can hear you and speak the messages that you see that are coming to you, because most of the time you're going to forget the damn things when you come out of meditation anyway. But if you've got that recorder and you can play back the words that you're speaking while in meditation, a lot of times your clear messages will be, and those given to you by Spirit. It essentially comes down to Christians, pagans, Jewish, Muslim, whatever. It doesn't matter the faith you follow. The messages, so much of the time, are stuck back and locked away in our own heads. There have been multiple times, yes, recording is a good idea. There have been multiple times that I have gone into meditation and astral travel knowing full damn well I'm not going to remember what I said when I come out. So what I've done is I put the idea in my head on my way down. I need to verbally speak loud enough where the recorder can hear me. I need to verbally speak that which is said to me. In my job as an IT tech, working on computers and servers and network and what have you, when people call me, I repeat back to them the information they give me. So I have trained myself to do information repeat, repeating information that's given to you, repeating it to a recorded device. If you've got a good sensitive microphone, right, and well, if you've got a good sensitive microphone and don't have as much hair as I do, sometimes you can clip it on your shirt collar, your lapel, whatever you call it, and or they do make headset mics with a microphone kind of like this. You definitely do not want the microphone in front of the mouth, right? If you've ever done any broadcasting or anything, the last thing you want is the microphone right in front of your mouth because then nobody can understand you. See what I'm saying? Nobody understood what I just said. Hell, I don't understand what I just said. You always want the microphone a little bit away from your mouth. But again, this is what shamans do. True shamans are about giving advice, and it's just that, it's advice. I'm not going to pretend to sit here and tell you that I know all. Shit. I'm not that arrogant. I'm really not. Mind the vape. Cindy says drum. That's another thing that most shamans do. We drum. We drum. Every chance we get, we drum. Love drumming. Never could stick drum though. Got a buddy of mine that could stick drum like a wild man. Now, give me a set of good djembes, doumbeks, or bongos. Oh, dude, it's on. I'm all about it. Getting off in it. I have a guy that wants to teach him crystals. Okay. Well, I happen to know that Cindy posting, one of my students, also one of the masters of the Grove, and I happen to know that you are very versed in the crystals. I see that's something else. The tools that a shaman uses. Folks, you have to understand something, right? I work with wood, build things out of wood as a hobby, right? I like my hobby. I chose not to go into construction. Well, number one, my body won't take it anymore. And number two, if I worked with wood as a living, then I would lose the passion of working with it as a hobby. But wood is a living thing, even though the wood we work with is dead, so to speak. You're turning it, you're cutting it, you're shaping it, you're gluing and bradding or screwing it together. You're molding something that once was alive that can essentially be a form of life again. It goes back to the tools of shamanism. I don't have any of my stones in my office, unfortunately. I don't know why. Guess I hadn't set them up yet. My bad. But yes, each shaman's tools are different. Now, I've had people call me a liar until I prove it to them. Okay? You can go out in your driveway. You can go out in your driveway and you can find a handful of stones. Bring them to me, and I can set my crystals aside, and I can use the stones you gave to me to do a reading with in person, face to face. I don't do stone readings over the internet. To hell with that. It takes too much energy, and it's only about 30 to 40, sometimes 50% correct. I hate internet readings. I almost won't do them unless somebody really needs the help. And even then, I start out telling them, like I told the person in chat, the best person in the world to get a reading from is yourself through meditation with a recorder. Absolutely. Now, would the old shaman be lying if I told you I didn't take donations? Of course I do. I'm not going to ask for it, nor am I going to hint for it. But who didn't take donations? Shit. Everybody's got PayPal, right? Anyway, here's the point. Shamans do help where we can. But a true shaman wants to be able to see the person that they're helping advance. They want to see them grow. I do know there are some unscrupulous bastards out there that won't ever completely lead an individual to heal because they want to keep sucking that money dry. They want to keep sucking on that money pit. Me, I would rather see you heal, see you advance, see you learn. Move on, come back to me in a couple of years and say, hey, thank you very much. What you did helped me out a lot. Dude, I mean, that's more for me than $100 in the bank. Okay, well, it's just as much to me as $100 in the bank. Now, so let's kind of recap. Shamans do, right? We do meditation training, help heal where we can, soul retrieval, and again, remember what I said soul retrieval is. We work with shamanic tools, whether it is our bare hands, a stone, a stick, a leaf, a branch, whatever tool we have available to us at the time. Right? And excuse me. Sorry. Damn sinuses. Anyway, we help where we can. But any good shaman knows when you have reached the end of your capability to help another. Right? You have to know when enough is enough. And, excuse me just a moment. Yes, my apologies. Something went up my nose. Anyway, and speaking of that, a number of shamans do use hallucinogens, such as marijuana, peyote. My air conditioner lost its mind for a second. Anyway, marijuana, peyote. Um, what's the other one? There are like four major hallucinogens that some shamanic groves and tribes do use. Um, Mine does not. Now, during the studentry of my shamans, I strongly recommend that they not use any hallucinogens, barbiturates, drugs of any kind. I have had some that do, and I do have some that do. But they don't call me or contact me when they are, because I will essentially tell them, piss off until you're sober. It is my belief, and it's been my experience, that the truest form of astral travel and the truest form of spirit walk is done while sober. Because then you have no question, is it the drug or was it real? These are things you have to answer yourself. I'm not going to condemn anybody that does it. If you want to do it, get on after it. Your life, you go for it. But what our grove does is we teach honor, discipline, very heavy on the discipline. And we teach people to be able to follow true to self. To me, that is a big part of being shaman. Looks like my microphone got turned up a little high. Right? If that's too low, let me know. But I tend to follow a higher expectation of self than I expect out of others. In my opinion, shamans should gauge themselves much higher in the honor than anyone else. Not because we're better, but because we want to be better for self. Shamans should not. I'm not going to say do not, because I know better. I've seen too many damn websites out there where they do. Shamans should not charge for teaching or training. Donations, fine, whatever. People pay what they can, that's fine. Healing, performing a service, doing things that, whatever people can afford is fine. I know back in the day, shamans did what they did for a chicken, 2 chickens, a dozen eggs, But to charge outrageous prices, shame on you, shame on your practice, and those of you that charge people hundreds of dollars for training, piss off. Yeah. Those of you that charge hundreds of dollars for healing, and you don't even have a medical degree, what's up with that? But in short, folks, that's what shamans do. We are healers. We are the calm in the storm, and at the same time, we can be the storm in the storm if the situation arises, if it need be. So, when you're seeking out a shaman and you're seeking out a healer, if it's not us you seek out, that's fine. I'm not here to drum up business. But if you're seeking out a shaman, pay attention to your bullshit meter. If the first thing they talk about is money, maybe they're not all that they say they are. If the first thing they talk about is helping you and giving what you can, if anything, if nothing, okay, fine. We do what we do because that's who we are. What shamans do is we help others, sometimes to the detriment of our own. And those of you that are wanting to study shamanism and understand it, understand shamanism is a lifestyle. It's not just a religion. It is something you are. You either are or you're not shaman. I've yet, in all of my years of practicing, I've never seen a true shaman witch, a shaman druid, a shaman Christian. Shamans are just shamans, and that's what we are. Shamans also help people cross over. Luckily, that's not one of my responsibilities. I'm not one that bridges this plane and the next for those who cross over. Thank the gods for that. But if you're piddling through the videos that we've done in the past, look for the ones that talk about the 5 human elements and the 3 human personalities. And that will tell you a whole lot of what we do as shamans. Do what you do sober, and do what you do honorably. If you are a shaman and you want to practice shamanism, be honorable to yourself, your path, and your craft. I'll give you back your evening now. Thank you for watching Live with a Shaman. We'll see you right here, hopefully with another good topic. Have a great week and a good evening.